The Leafs cast is back. We got a loss to talk about, and Ryan actually made this episode, so you're not going to want to miss it. Welcome back to the Leafs cast. Stephen Douglas joined by Tim and Ryan Allison, and we got a loss.
It's just the same old story. Every time I'm like, oh yeah, Leafs did okay tonight. Big goose egg on the score sheet. It's worth nothing. Didn't come through when it counts. The buckets are full of sweat.
Is that it? Do we want to call the pod there? Or... I feel like Tim sums it up pretty nicely.
You are joining us in a very raw state moments after the Leafs have lost what I believe is a 4-0 game. As I stepped away from the screen, it was 4-0 in a series clinching game. The Leafs have dropped to 1-13 in said series clinching games in this core 4 Auston Matthews era. Auston Matthews, who was held scoreless along with the rest of the Maple Leafs tonight. And as Tim said, a familiar story, all too familiar. I'm not even sure what's new to say.
Should we even call it the Auston Matthews era? The guy's a B player. Like, get out of here.
That's true.
We're now in the Matthew Nyes era.
It's the Morgan Riley era because he's the longest tenured Leaf. I don't know whose era it is. It's nobody's era. Nobody scored tonight. Nobody had a good chance tonight. It's the Linus Ullmark era. The Linus Ullmark era. I don't know, man. What's new to say here? The Leafs come out and you've got home ice and you need to figure out a way to win one of the next 4 games, and the Leafs have managed to piss away their first 2. And we go into the last game, well, at least the Leafs scored some goals and showed some life, right? And we talked about after game 3, not the same old Leafs, man. Not the same old Leafs. These guys have the killer instinct. They're getting these games done 2 seconds into overtime. Well, this was the game that we are all familiar with a game where the Leafs just don't show up. I guess I don't know if that's even the correct way to say it, but they did not show up in the score sheet. A nothing burger. I am furious.
I mean, they started the game pretty well. I thought the first period was good. The second period was trash, though. Like, just literally nothing. And followed it up with an even worse period in the third. Like, it's just... as the Leafs went on, you could tell that they weren't scoring anything. If they were going to score something, it was going to be off some fluky play or a bad goal that shouldn't have got in because they certainly weren't generating anything themselves. And I spent the first 3 games of the series praising Craig Berube. I now realize that was premature because it's easy to win games when things are going well. But, like, how about now that Ottawa's starting to wise up to you? The Leafs can't score a power play goal anymore. All they do is let in short-handed goals. They can't find out any offense throughout this series, and let's get some adjustments here. How about we don't start the third period with our 4th line? It drives me crazy, the announcers coming out and saying, oh, the 4th line, the identity line of the Maple Leafs. What's our identity? Not scoring goals? Because that's what the 4th line does. As good as they are, they don't score. Why are they starting every single period?
What annoyed me is that, like, they talk about, oh, this is not the same old Leafs. I don't see any panic. They're just sticking to the game plan. It's like, what you don't see is any urgency from the Leafs.
No,
like,
none. Sure,
they're not making stupid mistakes like we've seen in some years, but you're down a goal. You obviously know that you have an abysmal record in elimination games. Show some backbone and hustle out there. Win a puck battle. Take a shot for once. The number of times that, like, yes, we said, like, they're not scoring, but it's the classic thing of the goaltender gets in our heads. We refuse to take any decent shots. And it's like, oh, let's pass it 8,000 times. Mm-hmm. And yes, like, who had the best chance to the Leafs tonight? Steven Lorentz off the one breakaway that he took a long time. Steven Lorentz.
I'm at this point praying every time we get into the offensive zone that a defenseman is the one that takes the shot. Not even memeing because the defensemen have scored a handful of goals this season. It's just like that's literally the only chance I see at getting a real shot, like that's not going to hit a Senator's body or something. But the lack of urgency is insane. I always think back to, like, you talk about, like, easy things anybody can do at work to be better at their job. Like show up on time, right? Takes 0 skill. Takes 0 skill to be urgent. It takes 0 skill to skate after the loose pucks. And when the Leafs had a power play with the final, we were like 10 minutes left in the game. Leafs get a power play, got to score a goal here because this was the one that we let the goal in on. And William Nylander standing there on the flank, puck just goes right by him. There goes the end of the good chances in that power play, and the Senators scored there. And it's William Nylander, a man who just got like the second biggest contract extension in Maple Leafs history, and you've got no urgency. You're like the Leafs' top scorer this season. How are you not a dog on that puck? It's exhausting.
He seems pretty trigger shy. Like, I don't know. It seems like he's right in the slot, especially on the power play all the time, skating right by the net. And he won't shoot. And it's weird because of all the Leafs who we've always been guilty of overpassing and looking for that perfect play. It was never William Nylander. If anything, he was the recipient of that perfect play, and the puck would eventually make it over to him, and he would be the one to shoot it. But he's looking trigger shy. Matthews is very trigger shy. And when he finally shoots it, it goes wide. I think it's probably pretty easy to say that he was injured throughout the whole series. Like, he's not been at 100%. I don't think anyone would probably dispute that. And he took another puck off the hand today, and I don't think he took a shot after doing that. Like, now I think he's more injured, and now he's basically back to 2022 Matthews, whichever year that was, where he had no wrist. So now he has no back and no wrist. We got half of Matthews there.
No back,
half of Matthews.
No wrist.
I feel like what stings more this game is that gave them the benefit of the doubt after last game.
Yeah.
They said, oh, you know what? This is not the same old Leafs. And, shame on us. Clearly, we were, like, setting ourselves for failure here. But, like, I thought that the Leafs would win tonight. I thought the better team would come through.
Yeah.
And the Leafs didn't care. They said, like, oh, no, we'll win eventually. And they still might. And, like, they have 2 more chances to win. But, like, playing like they did tonight, I don't know, like Allmark, like all it takes is Allmark to have like a decent game as that seems all it takes to throw the Leafs off.
But that's the difference, right? Like, the difference of how this season has pivoted is Allmark has really turned it around from where he was in the first 3 games, where we would get 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the game every single time. Now he all of a sudden looks like a world beater. And the special teams, we cannot score a power play goal. They have got 2 shorthanded goals so far, pivotal shorthanded goals. That's been why we've lost the past 2 games now.
I don't even know that I give Olmark that much credit, because I don't see the Leafs with these like I don't see him making these highlight reel saves. I still think Stolarz has made more big saves in these games than him. Like, I just don't know that he's really being challenged that much. Austin Matthews' 2 best chances tonight, one went wide of the net and one hit the post. Like, I don't know. I guess he hasn't let in a softie, right? There's been no softie goals, but I just don't know that. Like, I don't even think we're getting goalied. I don't know that we necessarily got goalied tonight. I think the Leafs had like 24 shots in the game. It's just like they can't score. I'm watching this game, and I'm watching on the ESPN broadcast, which is trash, by the way. They hate the Leafs so much. I am so alone. I need to fly up to Canada and watch this game with my brothers. Give me a break.
That is true.
And the Leafs have 0 goals, and the Sens have 1 goal at this point, and they keep flashing over to the Carolina and New Jersey game where, New Jersey gets out to a 3-0 lead and Carolina storms back with three goals of their own. Then it's 4-4. The Leafs cannot score with anybody in the entire playoffs at this point. So my concerns with the Leafs go way beyond this series. I don't even know if they're going to win at this point. Like, you have to look at this point like that first game didn't happen. The 6 goals where, the Senators were just like dancing to the penalty box one after another, and the Leafs were on the power play for like 58 minutes of that game. You have to just remove that one, and the Leafs have scored 2, 3, and 0 goals in the series. And that's by far the lowest of anybody else in the playoffs, I guess, besides the other team they're playing against. I am so concerned going into this game on Thursday, where we're going to be in Ottawa, where they had a good showing. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
Welcome to Berube hockey. But
yeah, this lines up with the regular season, so I shouldn't expect any different. And when we were morons going into this game, sorry, I know I'm ranting. We were going into this game, we're like, what's the score prediction for the night? Like, cute old Steven at 2 p.m. is like, oh man, I think the Leafs going to win 5-3. 5-3? The Leafs will need 4 games to score 5 goals. What are you thinking? What?
My prediction of 4-1 also seems very silly in hindsight.
Ludicrous. Ryan was a man. Ryan was a man with a 2-0 prediction, because he knows what the team is. Tim and I are acting like we didn't watch a single game all season or all playoffs. Give me a break. Okay,
All
that's
I
what
know
I have
is
to
that
say.
coming off of the last game, I think all of us were expecting some lineup switch ups, or even if no one was coming in and out, just moving around the lines. We were all pretty surprised to see that they went with the exact same line combinations that they started the game with in game 4, with Holmberg on that second line, who has still yet to do anything good. He's not done
Drawn a
bad
couple
things, so
penalties.
that's good. But like definitely not producing any offense up there. The third line, which was quite
They're not the
not
third
great.
line.
And well, you know what I'm talking about. That Domi, Pacioretty, McMahon line, like really nothing in game 4. And to say, you know what, let's go with it again. And Holmberg still produced no offense on that top line with Tavares and Nylander. And that third line was still quite useless. So now I'm at the point where either we change at least one of, but hopefully both of those things. And if we don't, then I say Berube sucks and he doesn't know how to coach. Like there's a point where you're stuck in your ways. And if something's not working, it's not, oh, good for the Leafs for staying the course and doing what they know that works. That third line has not been a third line for the entire season. This game 3 on the road was the first time that third line was ever iced. Ever. So it's not like stick with what works and hold steady. If it's not working, which it's not, switch it up.
Well, and I come back to like the lack of urgency. Is having no lineup changes is the lack of urgency from Berube? Like, is he saying like, oh no, we'll give these guys more runway? It's like I remember last year when we gave Samsonov so much runway, lost the extra game, and it's like it was clear after game 2, the guy's washed. Put in someone else.
Well, I think we all, even in the preview, were arguing about what the line should be, and we were like trying to zig from a lot of like what we had seen in the final 5 games of the series. Like nobody on the Leafs cast thought the Leafs had the best lineup they could of like the guys that they had going into game 1, but they won 3 games in a row. And so I felt even going into tonight like it was still just a little bit too early to try out anything crazy, because it was just like, gosh, this lineup is going to be like that lineup that won the first 3 games is going to figure out a way to win one of the next 3 games. But now, once again, Ryan is a man, and we should have listened to him today. And you got to change 2 or 3 of the lines on the Maple Leafs right now, because I don't care if this fourth line has gas or not. They're not getting
the identity line.
The identity line. They're not getting pucks in the net. Pontus Holmberg is not getting pucks in the net. What do? Ryan, the man, the chosen one. What do they do?
I mean, I'm almost at the point where even though I thought that it was the right call to take Nick Robertson out and put Pacioretty in, especially for the road game, I think you gotta switch something up. Like he scores 0 goals. Robertson was your 6th highest goal scorer throughout the regular season. It sounds risky, and I don't necessarily think Berube will do it, but I'd be tempted to put that guy back in. Maybe he could score a goal or like generate some offense, and then you can build off of that. Maybe there's a third line out there which Ottawa has to worry about, because there's no way that our bottom 6 is scoring any goals at this point. You're right. If they're going to score a goal, it's because one of the defensemen that they're on with is going to score it on their behalf. So I don't even know if it's Pacioretty that has to come out, or if it's Bobby McMahon, who's absolutely been our worst forward throughout the 5 games. Like just absolutely nothing out there. I would be looking at saying, how can we build a lineup where we can put Nick Robertson in it and protect him on the road, because we need some offense.
I was gonna say that's the tough part. Like even when we were playing in Ottawa earlier, the Sens would like search for the Domi line. Whenever they were out, they would always like target them with their top players. And like that was really the start of like I think the Domi line got the least amount of ice time in one of those games. And Berube's favorite line, that the one that never scores, got like tons of ice time because they basically just took Domi's minutes. Didn't occur to Berube like maybe I should give these minutes to the top lines.
Yeah, the defensive, Selke candidate Austin Matthews, who, I mean, he can still do that. Do you have a suggestion of what you would hope the Leafs have besides bringing, like, you bring Nicky Robb in? Who comes out? Where does he go? Does he go on the third line and you just take Max Pacioretty out? Like, at this point, I really think you have to take Pontus Holmberg off of this top line. And I don't care. I get it. The fourth line hasn't been the most of our problems, but like, I don't know. Calle Yarncrook's looked pretty good. I think if anybody on the fourth line looks the best, it's Calle Yarncrook. So he deserves a shot. Throw him on the second line. You could listen to 40 minutes of the Leafs cast over the years of us complaining about the Yarncrook, Tavares, Nylander line, but I'm ready to see it in a must-win game in Ottawa on Thursday. I think you do that. I think you take Bobby McMahon out, or you put him on the fourth line and you bring Nicky Robb, and he's somewhere in the top 9. Gosh, I don't know. Bring in David Kampf. Put Scott Laughton, Nicky Robb, and somebody else, Ryan, on the third line, right wing. David Kampf draws in. David Kampf doesn't score unimportant goals, Tim. I am so stressed. I'm sweating. I need to remove layers.
Well, and I think you call like next game a must-win game. I don't think you're that far off. Like, I can't even mentally prepare for a game 7 in which we've thrown away a 3-game lead. That means the players that are the most mentally weak people on this planet, they can't handle it either. So it's like the game is a write-off, makes it a 7. You have to win next game. I want to see urgency from these guys. I want to see them right out of the gate. I want them moving. I don't know.
Ryan, who's the best player? Who's the best forward on the Maple Leafs through the series so far?
Best forward on the Maple Leafs, probably Matthew Nice.
Tim, who's the best forward on the Maple Leafs so far through the first round?
I might give it to Mitch Marner.
Okay.
But like, he was so good in the first few games, and then just like not.
So, okay, is it insane to suggest that they shouldn't play on the same line that's only going to get 21 minutes in the next game?
I mean,
Matthew Nyes,
it's less insane to suggest that they should get more than 21 minutes in the next game.
No, I'm saying like together. Then does this need to be broken up, right? I don't expect that Austin Matthews is going to show up in Game 6 and have a great performance, but I believe Matthew Nice, who looked great again tonight, he is the best player on the Maple Leafs right now. Basically.
Well, probably number 3 on that list is John Tavares. So there's your 3 guys who are looking for a paycheck who are showing up. Classic Leafs who are just money hungry.
The paycheck line.
Do you roll out, Domi and Marner and Nyes, and then Matthews with Nicky? It's got to be on the table, because really Game 6 you need to win Game 6, but you technically still have Game 7, and you can do something weird in Game 6 and hope that it works, and then tinker with it in Game 7. But you can't do nothing in Game 6 and then do a bunch of weird stuff like the super line that they did when they played against Columbus in Game 7, right? Like, you can't do that stuff in Game 7. Has to be in Game 6.
I feel like that's a little bold. Like, we've had 82 games of hockey this season, and we've tried Matthews and Marner and Nye split up on different lines, and it's just like never been remotely as good as when they're together. I feel like Game 6 is a little late to be trying that out. So I feel like the changes that you're making are the things that aren't working the most. Like we just said, Nyes and Marner are playing the best, so like maybe you keep that and you organize the rest of the deck chairs of the Titanic to see if you can figure out something different.
If only there were a center who only scores important goals that could slot in.
I like it. Steven,
in the middle of
you put in
Matthew
David
Nyes.
Kampf on that fourth line. You can move Scott Laughton up to maybe second line. Move Domi over to the wing. Like, there's lots of things you could do. We're short on center depth. It's strange he hasn't played. Like, it's strange because I think he's been healthy at practices. Like, he's skating. It's not like he's not still like on the IR, or, in a one leg with Simmons. Like,
he has a really unique injury where we didn't trade a first round pick and a prospect for him that we need to justify giving him ice time. I swear, if Scott Laughton takes one more slap shot, I'm gonna claw my eyes out.
He takes more slap shots than anyone else.
Scissors.
It's pretty funny. I don't know what it is with that guy because it never works. He's never scored on one.
No. Well, he's almost never scored. He's never scored on anything. He's never scored launching it out of a bazooka. Okay. It's nice potting, 7 minutes after the game ends. So it's raw versus the usual, 32 minutes that we wait. And it's nice to be back home. We're all here in our collective homes, But this mental state, and this emotional state, this is our home.
I've been enjoying so far saying, the playoffs haven't been as stressful as this year. Usually it's just like ruining my life for the 2 weeks that they go on. Oh, how we've arrived.
So all the same, we got off to a real good lead early in the series, and the reason why it's so rare that a team will come back from being down 3-0 is you have 4 games in a row that you need to win. What are the odds that one of those games, the bounces just don't go your way, or your goalie's off for one game or one period, or just like anything? The margin of error is so slim. Things have gone Ottawa's way 2 games in a row now. It's still probably heavily favored that the Leafs are going to win the series, even if it goes to 7. Still probably favored it goes to the Leafs.
And partly why it's so frustrating now, like why we always get so hot talking about this. The Leafs are the better team. The Leafs should be winning these games.
Okay, but
so they're totally able to do this.
Can we not look as recently as last year's Stanley Cup Finals, where you have legitimately the best team in the league, the Florida Panthers, against legitimately a bunch of posers who are backed by Skinner in the Edmonton Oilers, and Florida Panthers go up 3-0? Edmonton makes this miraculous comeback, charges all the way to Game 7, and then the better team prevails, and it's over. And no one remembers that because it's just Florida won, and they're still the darlings of the league because they're the best. They're the worst because they're rats, but they're the best. So even if it goes to 7, goes to 6 or whatever, if the Leafs end up winning because of the better team, then they just win because of the better team. So we'll see how it goes.
Maybe. But it's still these 2 games we thought the Leafs would be different. These 2 games have showed me that the Leafs aren't different. They might get a couple breaks and might do better than the other years. They're the same old Leafs.
So, but hold on. If the Leafs win next game by a score of, I don't know, let's say 2-1, with that second goal the Leafs get, 5 minutes left of the game, Austin Matthews makes a terrific play and puts the team on his back and wins the game. Are you going to come away from this series saying it's the same old Leafs, they couldn't win Game 5, and it doesn't matter that they won in 6 on the back of Austin Matthews, it's the same old Leafs? Is that what you're going to be saying?
I will have my opinion of them tainted. It's I'll say yes, they're working to dig out of it. But losing these both games 4 and 5 in the manner that they did, I say that they are still more the old Leafs than the new Leafs.
To me, there's no judgment that will be made as to whether or not this is the old Leafs or the new Leafs based on how they win. If they lose, we could talk about that bridge when we cross it. That's something else. But if they win in 4 games or 5 games or 6 games or 7 games, I don't think that will influence my opinion of, is this the old Leafs or is this actual cup contending Leafs? Because that opinion will be made based on, could they beat Florida, or could they beat Tampa, or could they beat whoever they meet after that or whatever. Those are the real teams. We should beat Ottawa. And if we lose to Ottawa, again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if they beat Ottawa, I don't really care how they do it. If they go out against Florida and lose in 5 games to them, I wouldn't care if they got a sweep against Ottawa or won in 5 games. If they just came out tonight and blew the roof off of Ottawa, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they lose to Florida in the way that they lost to Florida 2 years ago. So it doesn't, it's not, you can't say whether or not they're different or not based on a series against the Ottawa Senators. We'll know that next series if they make it that far.
Have to see then.
I feel better after hearing Ryan's jubilee.
All right. Well,
but
I still feel horrible, so we'll see.
You are a man, Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the pod, okay? It's good to be back home, back in our mental state. Leafs fans, just take a deep breath.
The sun will come up tomorrow.
Maybe don't get out of bed though tomorrow. Don't worry about getting out of bed tomorrow. Just let that one go away. Don't talk to anybody, especially if you're outside of Toronto, and just wait for Thursday. reckoning will come. The Leafs are the better team. I still believe that the Leafs are the better team, at least in these Ottawa Senators. And I believe they will prevail in Ottawa, where we have won a game already this series. And I hope to see some blue in the stands. And gosh, I wish this thing was over. All right. That's it. Good night.